San Juan Regional Medical Center is your community hospital, committed to making life better for the communities we are privileged to serve. In fact, better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care. What matters most to our patients matters most to us, offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services so you can get the quality care you need right here at home. San Juan Regional Medical Center, celebrating life better here since 1910. KSJE is supported by the Alzheimer's Association, New Mexico chapter, with a local office in Farmington, providing free services and resources to help those living with dementia and their families, including their 24/7 helpline, 1-800-272-3900. The Alzheimer's Association, New Mexico chapter, 1-800-272-3900.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Cullip, along here with Scott Michlin.
Good morning, Megan Cullip.
Look how fluid that was.
That was very fluid.
I've been having difficulty the past couple of weeks.
You have, and you got my name right and
Like,
everything.
everything.
I'm so excited.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Pronounced it correctly.
You've been practicing. You've had a week to practice.
I've had in the mirror.
Yeah, that's it. You chant it,
I chant
don't you?
Over and over and over again.
Glad that you do. But welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see
You've
you.
had a good week?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
good.
Pretty copacetic.
All right. That's all good. Glad to hear. Very good. Welcome, everybody. This is our Solutions from the Street program on KSJE. Every other Friday, of course, we're here with Solutions from the Street. And then we have our other program called That's Interesting. That'll be next week, of course. But this week, it's Solutions from the Street.
That's right.
And we have a unique solution to a unique community problem, don't we?
Community problem that is not unique to communities across America.
True.
But
All right. Okay. Yeah.
But a good solution.
Yeah. Very good solution.
Yeah.
And a good guest.
Yes.
To represent the solution.
Yes.
So, and she's here for the first time in person.
Yes, we've heard her over the phone,
Right,
on
exactly.
Zoom,
Right.
and now it's like she's embodied
There's
here.
an actual person
Yeah.
behind the voice.
Yes.
So we welcome from Echo, Nanette Pinckney. Nanette, good morning, and thank you for coming in on a Friday. We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. Good morning, and thank you for having me. I love an opportunity to talk about Echo and all the services that we offer.
Right, and it's a lot, so we'll get to as many as we can. But first and foremost, I know that food is really what most people think about when they think about Echo with the food bank and things along that line. And so that is a solution to a problem of hunger in our communities. And I think we're seeing more and more people suffering maybe from food insecurity and hunger issues because prices that we know are just going up and up. Inflation is unfortunately hitting everybody, and I think lower income families get hit the hardest when things like this happen.
Yeah,
That was a long, rambling question. And I hope there's a question in there somewhere that you could maybe find an answer to.
No, absolutely. I mean, obviously with COVID, it really hit hard, and lots of people have utilized the food bank that haven't used it in the past. And then, of course, with the inflation, we are seeing, that's kind of staying there's no flat line. It's, kind
Right.
of goes up and down a little bit. But we definitely are still seeing a huge need for food access in our community. And it's not just limited to Farmington, obviously. It's throughout all of San Juan County, which includes the Navajo Nation and the chapter houses within the Navajo Nation as well. So we have a huge reach between the entire San Juan County area.
Right. And Echo serves that whole area, does it not?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. And so how do you, I guess, plan, if you can, for some of these kind of increased demands on your food? I mean, you rely on donations, you rely on a food bank network, I believe, right, to help you kind of buy in bulk and stretch the dollars as much as you can. And that's just kind of how you have to plan from week to week, month to month?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. We have some federally funded state managed food programs that are commodity programs that the community is very familiar with and they access on a regular basis. But, we also do have our private donations, and honestly, donations from just individuals or companies or foundations are where the primary amount of our funding does come from. from. So we do really heavily rely on that in order to purchase foods and the supplies that are needed to actually make the distributions happen. We've actually been unfortunately faced with one of our commodity programs has really reduced, not just for us, but for all of the food banks across the United States. Our TFAP program, which is the Emergency Assistance Food Program, is experiencing a huge setback in the amount of foods that we're getting. So fortunately for ECHO, as well as the other food banks in the state of New Mexico, the state provided us some funding through the special legislative session and regular legislative session. So we've been able to use that funding to kind of bridge the gap on some of those food programs that are, kind of been reduced. So
Good to hear.
Good to hear. Yeah. And so has the demand increased with all the food prices being doubled basically what they were?
I think we've seen a slight increase, and I think we're going to continue to see that, especially with gas going up. You need gas to get to work, to get your kids to school, etc. What are you going to choose? Food, gas? Are you going to cut back on food? So we're definitely going to be able to be there to help offset that for them. All they really need to do is just come through our drive-through at the food bank, and we'll screen them, and we'll get them set up on whatever type of program that they're the most eligible for. But I do think we'll continue to see that kind of increase over time.
Yeah, and what does the screening entail if I drive through?
So typically with our federally funded state managed programs, you have to meet a residency requirement within San Juan County as well as income guidelines. There's some waivers right now that the USDA has put out. So basically we can just take their word for what their income is. They don't have to bring us a piece of paper that are their 30 days worth of paycheck stubs for the food programs. So they just come through the drive-through. We just screen them with the questions we need to, and if they're eligible, they're in our system, and we load them up with food, and they can go on.
Very good. And what days do you do that with the drive-through?
Monday through Thursday from 8 to 4.
Okay. And so anytime during those days and times, folks can drive through to see if they're eligible, if they're having an issue.
Absolutely.
And we hear a lot about maybe families that are doing okay, maybe they're paycheck to paycheck, but then all of a sudden a car repair, health problem, hospital bill, and all of a sudden, bam, their budget is just blown out the door, and they're in trouble. Do you see a lot of folks coming maybe for help temporarily while they're just trying to work through some of these emergency expenses that come up?
Definitely. We do see people that have come in just kind of on a temporary basis because they just had that setback, like you mentioned. But a lot of times they didn't know that they qualified for it anyway. So they can continue, depending on the program, continue to get it. One of the programs you can get up to 4 times a month. That is the TFAP program. It's for 18 and older. Then our elderly program is 60 and older. And if those individuals are already on SNAP benefits, they automatically qualify for both of those programs. So they can get the CSFP, which is the Commodity Supplemental Food Program for seniors 60 and older, once a month. And then they can still get the other program 4 times a month. So a lot of times they didn't know that even though maybe they weren't utilizing us and now they had that emergency, that they actually qualified all along.
Interesting. Okay. And you can tell them, obviously, and then they can plan that for their budgets and going forward.
Absolutely.
And so as we're talking about food, I want to highlight you've got a couple of programs that are coming up. One is next Friday.
Correct.
And that is over in Aztec, and we talked about this back in our COVID time. We would always talk about the ECHO food distributions.
It was
remember, right?
Every show.
Almost.
Where are they?
Right.
Where can I find them?
Exactly. But I don't think they've really gone away.
No.
But this is one that you've got planned for next week. Let's talk about that for just a moment.
Right. So back during COVID, we did have a special program that we were able to offer that did go away. So we really haven't had the opportunity to do these type of distributions in a while. But this is some of the state funding that we received, and we purchased some pre-made food boxes. So this one we're going to be doing at the San Juan County offices in Aztec. And it'll be from 9 to 11. We are now starting to gather a little bit more data than we used to. You could just come through, we'd load you up, and you'd be on your way. But because of the way we're funded, we do have more reporting requirements now. But all they need to do is just come through. We're not going to check, income, just get a little bit of information and load them up, 1 box per family.
Okay, at this event.
That's
how
event.
It's going.
Yes.
And so you said from a 9 to 11 for the radio audience, the graphic does say, or until food runs out. So if you wait till 10:55, you may be out of luck.
True.
Because food may be gone. First come, first served.
Yes.
but you will ask some questions just for your data reporting, but there's no eligibility requirements. If you're in a car and you're driving through,
Right.
you're going to get a box of food if there's still food available.
Correct.
Is what you're telling us.
Yes,
And the food is
absolutely.
going to be things like canned vegetables and fruit, cereal and oatmeal, shelf-stable milk, rice and beans, potato flakes, and cornbread mix. A nice, pretty basic food box, but
Right.
stuff that can last a while, right? If
Right.
you wanted to have it in the pantry and just keep it
Right.
for an emergency.
Yeah, it's probably going to give you a couple of weeks worth of meals
Yeah.
out of that, depending on how you cook it and how many are in your family.
Right, of course.
I have another food question.
Of course
It's
you
not
do.
really a food question.
Okay,
I guess.
well, that's all right.
Anyway,
I don't know.
it pertains to the food bank.
Yes.
I remember during COVID volunteering a few times just to get out and do. You had this urge to do something that would be helpful. So, still volunteers. How do I volunteer if I want to? Yeah.
Sure. We need volunteers all the time. We actually are looking for 3 full-time employees for the warehouse right now. So it's really critical that anyone who wants to volunteer, reaches out, and they can just call the food bank, or they can go online to echoinc.org and find our application and just send it in. So, but yeah, anytime, Monday through Thursday between 8 and 4, we would love to have volunteers.
Very good. What kinds of jobs did Megan do best? Do you remember?
I didn't work physically in the warehouse. I'm at a different location, but I bet she was probably packing boxes.
Packing boxes.
Okay.
That's what I was
I
doing.
think you did good job at that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Just stick things in box. I can do that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Doesn't need a lot of supervision, which is really
Thankfully,
important for
which is
Megan.
important for me.
Yeah.
Usually I need a lot of supervision.
Right.
Yeah, I received no complaints about Megan, so I
good.
think she must have done pretty good.
Excellent.
Okay, good to hear. That's excellent news. Another event that you have going on the very following day, a week from tomorrow, is a breakfast event for kids.
Sure. So this particular program is funded by a couple of organizations. One is the Nourishing Neighbors Foundation, which is the foundation for the Albertsons and Safeway stores. And they did a fundraising event and raised close to $10,000 for this Breakfast for Kids program. So we are packing some insulated lunch boxes with 7 ready-to-eat breakfast meals and distributing those lunch boxes the last Saturday of June as well as the last Saturday of July. And so, the intent is for the kiddos, when they're out of school, if they a lot of times rely on the foods while they're at school, the meals they get at school. So this will help with those breakfast meals during the summertime.
Good to know. So we're showing, again, there's a QR code on the screen right now for folks that do QR codes. You can scan that and fill out a form to reserve your spot. If not, it's a first come, first serve kind of event again. So no
Yes.
necessarily qualifying requirements, right?
No,
to
no.
come and get food.
No
at this
qualifying requirements. We just need, again, to gather some data because we have to report back to the funders. And we did have 2 funders, one anonymous and the Saving the Children Foundation, who funded the lunch boxes that we're using. So we had 3 entities that are involved in this making this happen for our kids here.
Very good. It is the Breakfast for Kids event, again, Saturday, June 25th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Echo location, 401 South Commercial, for the radio audience in Farmington is where you can find it.
Correct.
And first come, first serve.
Yes.
Unless you register with the QR code
Yeah.
ahead of time, which is on the screen. So there you go. So to wrap up kind of our conversation about food, Echo's been here for a long time. It's probably going to be here for a long time to come, serving these needs in the community. But this food, and I mentioned food insecurity. I mean, and that's still a big deal, isn't it, for some of our neighborhoods, especially when we talk about some of the far-flung corners of San Juan County and the reservation. I mean, that's a big problem, is it not?
It is, and just to make note of the reservation, a lot of the areas of the reservation within San Juan County, it's 70 miles round trip just to go to a grocery store. And a lot of the families may not have, a way to store their foods to keep them, the perishable items, keep them cold or frozen. And so it makes it really hard. So we work really closely with several of the chapter houses with grants and try to help them for example, Sheep Springs, between Shiprock and Gallup, we were able to get a grant a year ago to provide them with cold storage so that they can store perishable items for their distributions. And so we continue to try to look for initiatives like that within the reservation. But of course, we do have our own, communities within San Juan County, within Farmington, Aztec, Bloomfield areas as well. I recently met with the Somos group, which represents the Hispanic community, and really educated them on what our programs are, and tried to relieve some of the concerns about having to provide identification and things like that. So we actually are working to ramp up that program as well, to be able to help more in the community.
Very good. It's really an issue that I think a lot of folks maybe aren't aware of, because it kind of happens out of sight, out of mind, and I hate saying it that way, but not everyone's aware of all the work that you do and the lines of people that are there for this assistance every week.
Right, and sometimes the lines wrap around a block and a half, and so it's and I have about 2 people working those lines right now because we're shorthanded, so it does take a little bit to get through the line. But yeah, the need is definitely there, and we always tell everyone, just if you don't know, just ask, come through. There's no judgment, there's no stigma. If you need the help, that's what we're there for. We don't want you to feel embarrassed or anything else. If you're struggling at all, just come to the food bank. We're going to do what we can to help you.
Right. Megan, any other questions about the food part of Echo? Yes.
No, it sounds delicious.
Right. Someone skipped their breakfast this morning is what I'm getting from you.
Jeez.
But yeah, Nanette, remind us about some of the other things that Echo does, because it's so kind of wide-ranging. Yes.
It is.
Besides the food.
Right. So Echo obviously is a nonprofit, so we're a 501c3 charitable organization, but we're also a community action agency. So as a community action agency, we are also federally funded and state managed for emergency assistance programs, other than food. And it does help with the food, but we also offer rental assistance, utility assistance, funeral assistance. We do hygiene kits and diaper kits, different things like that through our admin office. And I will tell you that during COVID, that went up about, literally, I am not kidding you, 800% is how much that assistance went up.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So while it's decreased some, it's still it's still more than 50% more than what we were doing pre-COVID. So there's a lot of need out there, and if someone accesses us for rental assistance and they are eligible based on what the criteria is, and it's a little bit, it varies depending on how it's funded, we have a check to the landlord within about 72 hours. So
wow.
They know that day if they're eligible, and then we have a check cut within about 72 hours to the landlord. So to us, that's really important because it just helps with that mental stress of knowing that you're behind. Am I going to get evicted? So we just, we encourage everyone to call us if they're struggling, and we will go through a screening process on the phone. And we will, if they're eligible, just based on the screening process, we'll tell them what they need to bring into the office. They'll schedule them an appointment, and we'll go over all of it when they come in.
Very good.
Right. Well, I'm just thinking save your pay stubs.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Right. Sure.
You do have to, for this program, you do have to show your proof of income.
Yeah.
So we do need 30 days proof of income. So, but yeah, that's one of our other biggest programs. And then we also have our preschool and Aztec. So we do take kiddos ages 2 to 12 there, and we do have slots if anybody's looking that are open, especially during the summer. And then while it's not San Juan County related, we have a Albuquerque warehouse also. And so you may have friends or family that are 60 or older that might be needing food. And so we have the senior 60 plus program in Albuquerque that serves about 9 counties in the Albuquerque
that central
area.
part of the state.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. So we do a total of about 11 counties with that program, I believe.
Okay. Wow, very good. With the rental assistance, I wanted to pick up on that just a bit about, we're hearing maybe reports from other parts of the country, and I don't know if we've seen it here just yet, but with inflation and prices going up, we've heard about maybe rents going up too. Is that something that you're hearing here locally, or is it not quite filtered down to San Juan County yet, of folks coming and saying, my landlord just raised my rent, and so now I can't make it happen?
I haven't heard that they're coming in and saying that the landlord has raised the rent. I'm sure.
That's good.
I'm sure it's coming if it's not here already. And in those situations, we would only be able to help if they're past due. So, we can't bridge a gap between what it used to be and what it is
I see, sure.
because of the inflation and the increased cost. But as long as they're past due, they can come in and we can talk to them and see how we can help. But I haven't really received a lot of feedback on that just yet.
Well, that's good. I hope maybe landlords are trying to hold the line as long as they
Yeah.
can without having to raise those extra costs onto their renters. And of course, if you have a lease, you're somewhat protected from that happening.
Right. The lease is going to protect you as long as the lease is active, and most of them are just a year. So I would say it's probably coming as those leases near their termination point. So
Right. To renew, you're going to have to pay more is what probably we're
Yeah.
going to start hearing. So
Yeah.
there you go. For folks that want to come in to see if they're eligible for rental assistance or if they're behind, are there certain days and times when you can help them?
So the admin office is open Monday through Friday from 8 to 4. And they would just need to call first. We're not currently taking walk-ins, so we schedule everyone, and they can just give us a call at 325-7466, and then we will get them screened and get them an appointment scheduled.
Okay. And that address is different from the South Commercial
It is.
address, right?
It
So we want to
is.
make sure we send folks to the right place.
It's 1921 East Murray Drive.
Okay. And that's over there, East Murray Drive, kind of Bluefield Highway
Yep.
neighborhood. That's what I'm trying to
Yes.
say. But
Yes.
yes, that's what we're talking
We're
about.
right next door to the Habitat for Humanity Restore.
Okay.
And across the street from Red Rock Roadhouse.
See?
There you go.
Now I know.
Yeah, well,
you
once
base it
you
on
mention food,
we know where you are.
Scott's in.
We know where you are.
That's
It's
exactly
no
what
longer
was
a
needed.
mystery. That's right. It's very true.
What's the, let's see, funeral expenses? Talk about that for a bit.
So I will say, first of all, we are currently out of funeral expenses, but I will tell you that during COVID, we received some CARES Act funding that helped with not only the rent and utilities, but funeral assistance, and it increased exponentially. It
Yes.
just was out the roof. But it just really depends on how much funding we have available at the time, but it's usually, I think, anywhere from $300 to $800 that we can help. It's not necessarily going to cover all of it. Funerals are expensive. And if they are on the Navajo Nation, there's the Navajo Nation has a packet that pays X amount of dollars, and then sometimes it doesn't cover everything, so we try to help with that as well. I can't tell you the number that we did during COVID. It was just crazy.
Right. Well, and a lot of those were unexpected, right? I mean,
Very
and
much
that's
so.
what happens is
Very
folks
much
aren't
so.
planning for someone to pass away, and all of a sudden that's happened,
Yep.
and now
Right.
you have to figure out how to pay for
Right.
the funeral, which we know $800 is a good start, but it certainly
It-
isn't going to cover everything.
It doesn't cover it. It definitely doesn't. But again,
expect
it's
to
based
get-
on eligibility too. So.
Sure. Do you expect to get more funding for that program in the future?
I do. It's through our Community Services Block Grant, and that renews hopefully within the next 30, 45 days. So I'm hoping that we will see some more funding come through with that.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, that's important as well. What else are we forgetting to ask
I
you
know,
about,
yeah, what
Nanette,
else do you
with
guys have
all
going
the,
on
the
here?
things that
Look
Echo
at,
does?
check your notes.
I know.
check
Let me
your
look at my
notes.
notes. I was
Sure.
going to say, actually, pretty much covered everything.
That's good.
Yeah, I was just trying to think if we have, any special, other than these food drives, if we have any special events coming up. We'll be at the county fair in August if anyone has any questions.
Very
We'll
good.
be at the Chick Community Resource Fair next Thursday in Bloomfield.
Right.
Anyone is, welcome to come and stop by, and we're happy to give them some information. Can't really do a lot of pre-screening in an event like that, but definitely, very happy to talk to them about our program and the services we offer.
Right. And of course, again, now remind me, I'm trying to remember now if I'm not wrong, does Echo still run the Daily Bread program, or is that different?
Does it called Daily Bread? I'm not really sure.
Or the food kitchen,
So that might be PATH.
that's Path.
That is
You're right.
Path.
That is
Yeah.
Path.
Yeah, that's
You're
Path.
right. So I am wrong.
Yeah.
Wow.
That doesn't happen very often. That doesn't happen.
Look
But
at
I
you.
apologize. I'm
And
sorry.
fully admitting on the air.
Well, I'm happy to own it if I screw it up, so I don't mind that. But my apologies because
Well, we do have a program called a bread run, which
Thank you.
is what we call our rescue foods. So we are able to go like to Smith's or Target and Walmart and things that they have that are not expired yet but are going to be close to. We're able to pick those up, and then we usually get those dispersed out on the same day.
Food rescue. I love it.
See,
Yeah,
how about
it's
that?
definitely a food
Right?
That sounds like a fun. Do you have volunteers to do that? Because that sounds fun.
No
scrounging?
volunteer. Well, I mean, if they want to come in and volunteer and like to help load it up into the cars and stuff, but yeah, we have to use our staff to go and pick it up with our big trucks usually. So
Gotcha. That's cool. But again, a great example of how these retail establishments are working with you to try to extend the life and not have to toss that food
Right,
out. I
right,
guess that'd be the other
exactly.
option, wouldn't it?
yeah, that would be the other option, and they do that with other nonprofits in the area too. So it's not just with Echo, but it really does go a long ways in helping with the food that we give to everybody. Especially when the commodity programs are typically the same thing over and over. So if we have something else to add to it that kind of just makes that food distribution a little bit better for the family, then it definitely helps. So, and last summer we actually partnered with Townsend Farms, and they donated all of their excess produce to us, and that actually helped a lot. And they are going to do that again this year. So
Oh, great.
we're looking forward to that. I think it was around 18,000 pounds of produce last year. So- and
18,000 pounds.
It was a lot. I might be off on the number, but I know it was a lot.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
That sounds
That's-
like a whole lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true. Well, that's great for, again, another great community effort, right?
Right.
To help what you're doing. Now, if we wanted to donate food to Echo, what types of things do you need? Do you have most need of? Is it some of that shelf stable products, or what types of things can you
Sure.
suggest?
So I would say to donate, it would be, probably better to just keep it shelf stable. So anything, we do like a lot of like canned SpaghettiOs, or we call that entrees, canned meals that you can cook and it can feed a couple of people. So, beef stew, SpaghettiOs, things like that. But rice, peanut butter, shelf-stable juices and milks, granola bars, oatmeal, anything like that that can just be sat on the shelf for a while comes in real handy. And the donations are extremely vital, because when you talk about the inflation, it's expensive for families, but it's also expensive for us. So
Right.
we have these vendors, and while we may be buying in bulk and it's typically cheaper, it's also more expensive now with the inflation. So we've seen some items that have increased 133% in cost. So all of that money that we receive from donations and, foundations and things like that, that money doesn't necessarily stretch as far as it used to, because the cost is more. So
Understood. This could help. And we can drop these things off, or what's the best way to get these donations to Echo? To that South Commercial address? Is that where we're going?
Right, you would just take it to the food bank at 401 Commercial, but if anyone wanted to do a food drive, they could. We've got all the paperwork out on our website, so they can go out there and do the paperwork. And then we have these big blue cans, and we have bins and stuff that we can set up. In fact, I think we're doing one with the mall for their back to school
Okay.
event in August. So. We'll be doing that there too. But yeah, I mean, the boys club, some of the churches, there's dental offices in town. They do food drives, and we take these to them, and they collect food. Some people just donate cash, and then that comes back to us as well. So
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess cash is always a good thing, because then you can spend it however you need it. If you've got a shortage of something, you can supplement that with the cash.
Right,
So-
exactly.
So that's good to know.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, let's just recap the events that are coming up. Megan, unless you had anything else.
No, I mean,
Any
I
other
was going to
burning
ask, is
questions?
it better to donate cash because you can buy like food like wholesale or at cost or something, or
Yeah.
does it not matter?
I mean, it's, either way is actually doable for us. I mean, it's good to have the food right there, so it's already in our hands, and we're not. Lead time on getting things ordered is sometimes 4 to 6 weeks before we actually get it. So having the actual tangible goods in our
Yeah,
hands certainly
wow.
helps
Okay.
to go ahead and pack up some of those boxes. So
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Good to know. So either.
Okay.
yeah,
So
either way is good.
take some food down and write a check.
Yeah,
do
there you
both.
That's
go.
what I'm hearing.
Hey, we'll take
or
both.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's the peanut butter. Here's the money.
There you go.
Yeah.
See? Perfect. There you are. All right. So to recap, before we run out of time this morning, the free food box distribution in San Juan County is happening a week from today, next Friday. And the food boxes will include canned vegetables and fruits, cereals and oatmeal, shelf-stable milk, rice and beans, potato flakes, cornbread mix. And it's happening at the San Juan County Office Complex there in Aztec, 100 South Oliver Street, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Friday, June 24th, or until food runs out. It's first come, first serve. No eligibility requirements. You just need to show up and answer a few questions. when you're in line, and you'll get some food, and you'll be on your way. And there's the in and out. We see the entrance is off of Hanover Drive, and the exit is kind of off to the east side of there of the complex. It's kind of a one-way in and out.
Yep.
And so how you've got it set up. So there's that coming up. And then a week from Saturday, your Breakfast for Kids event at the 401 South Commercial Echo address in Farmington, 9 to 11 a.m., free breakfast meals for kids under 18. And that's going to be a week's worth, right? Is that how you have it planned?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we'll be putting 7 breakfast meals in the lunchbox.
There you go.
Excellent.
For folks to pick up. And they can scan that to reserve a spot, or they can just show up, again, first come, first served if there's stuff still available. But that is going to be happening, again, next Saturday. And again, you can go to the website echoinc, all one word, .org/breakfast for kids, or just echoinc.org to find out more about everything else we've been talking about this morning, is how you do that. And Facebook, probably too.
Yes, and Facebook.
You're
we do a
on
lot on Facebook, and we have Instagram as well. So.
Okay. See, there you go. Perfect.
Nice.
Nanette, we really appreciate you coming in on a Friday and sharing all the work that you and your staff does at Echo for all of us in the community, and just another great solution to a problem
just
that
some
we
major
have.
basic needs problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely.
But thank you for being here.
Absolutely. I was glad to be here. Glad
Great.
to talk about Echo and everything that we do.
Well, we really appreciate that. So thank you for coming in. And that'll mean, Megan, we're wrapping up for this week.
For this week, and we have more interesting things next week.
Yes, we do. Because it's that interesting.
That's
That's interesting. But before we go to that,
Yes.
if folks do think of another solution to a problem that we have here in San Juan County, maybe the problem is that I can't remember who runs the Daily Bread, they can email us, yes, now I know, with a suggestion for a future program,
That's right. KSJE at sanjuancollege.edu. Drop us a line. Let us know. We would love to hear from you.
Yes. Or if you want to critique Megan's T-shirt choices, you can do that. or my wardrobe choices, you can do that.
You're
or
just
say
jealous
hello.
that your wardrobe's not as cool as mine.
I must say,
Prince
yeah.
going on a yacht.
Is that what you think the
Well,
look is here?
because they
Wait,
can't see your shoes. They're like boating shoes.
They can't. I know. There's no socks today because
Yeah.
it's Friday. Yeah, that's true.
No
But-
Sock Friday.
Yeah, very true. But that's where we are. So, okay. Fair enough. Touche.
Touche.
I'll take it. I'll take it. But next week, as you mentioned, you're right. It is That's Interesting. That's our call-in show next Friday, everybody. So that's when we really rely on you to add to the program and call in with something interesting from your world. You can give us a call, make a note on your calendar. Every other Friday, That's Interesting with Scott and Megan, 8 to 9 a.m.
Yeah, call us.
So we'll be here talking about interesting things. And
That's
who knows?
right.
And you always bring something really interesting because you are a voracious reader. And so you read a lot and share that with us, and I
There's
appreciate
a lot
that.
of stuff out there.
Yeah. But usually really, I mean, it's like smart stuff.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
That's
I appreciate
what I
that.
try to
Me,
do.
I'm reading like cereal boxes, so I really can't add to the
At
conversation.
the food bank, you're gonna go. You're gonna
that's
go
what I do.
volunteer.
Well, I'd be so busy reading the
This
cereal
much
boxes.
sodium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
But anyway, that's the thing. So there you go. And then before we go,
Radio,
how about a plug?
Guess what?
What?
I remember the theme.
I'm so glad because I didn't tell you I was going to do this today.
Yes, so Radio Free Saturday morning, every Saturday, 9 to 11 a.m., and it's a music show. But what makes it unique is that we go into the stories behind the songs and the stories behind the artists.
And by we, she means her.
Yeah, I know. Why did I do that?
I don't know. The
Me.
royal we.
I do.
Yeah. Yes, Your Majesty.
So that's what makes it unique. It's not just playing music, but it's also talking about music. And each week I have a different theme, and then I bring songs within that theme. And so this week's theme is songs inspired by works of literature, going back to the smart thing.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're
And-
really just in our face with the reading.
Yeah.
apparently.
Well, and there's so many musicians that reference great authors in their songs.
Are there? I guess there are. 'Cause
There's
you filled
enough for 2
You have
hours.
filled two
Yeah,
hours worth.
yeah.
So that is interesting.
That is interesting.
So that's music, the program tomorrow, Radio Free Saturday morning with Megan Cullip here on KSJE, 9 to 11. You can listen to it at 90.9 FM or streaming at ksje.com. And
Yes.
soon to be back on the air in Durango at 103.3.
Excellent.
But not yet.
Our Durangotans will be excited.
They can stream for now.
Yes.
But we're hear from them. So perfect. Well, until then, that's all we have for this week. So
Yes.
we're done.
Yeah.
But we really appreciate Nanette Pinckney for coming in from Echo and
Yes.
talking about all the work that they do. And we now have ways to help add to the solution of hunger and other problems here in San Juan County with the help of Echo.
Yes.
So there you are. Very good, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next week here on KSJE. KSJE is supported by the Farmington Civic Center, bringing a full slate of entertainment to Farmington and San Juan County. A free concert with Farmington's Chevelle Shepherd, Saturday, July 2nd at 7:30 p.m. The Farmington Civic Center, 200 West Arrington in downtown Farmington. Find out more online at fmtn.org/shows or at 505-599-1148. KSJE is supported by Music in the Mountains, a world-class classical music festival based in Durango, Colorado, offering orchestra, chamber, and world music concerts July 7th through July 31st. This year, the concerts come to you with free mobile stage performances in the region, plus other unique venues throughout the area. Find out more at musicinthemountains.com.
Ya'at'e, journey with Native Art Voices of the Four Corners and me, Vinaya Yazi, where we will trek into the Native artist dialogue and narrative. Together, we will take a glimpse into the art process and the lives of the Navajo, Apache, Ute, and Pueblo artists living within Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. Tune in every third Thursday of the month at 9:30 a.m. or find podcast episodes. Native Art Voices of the Four Corners, great artist stories are the journey of art in the Four Corners.
Are you looking for a career in education, school transportation, student nutrition, or grounds and maintenance? The Bloomfield School District has competitive wages, benefits including paid vacation, sick leave, paid holidays, and a retirement package. Find out more about all the available positions online or from Mike Sturdivant at 505-632-4326. Bloomfield School District, investing in our future. Bloomfield School District is an equal opportunity employer. San Juan Regional Medical Center is your community hospital, committed to making life better for the communities we are privileged to serve. In fact, better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care. What matters most to our patients matters most to us, offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services so you can get the quality care you need right here at home. San Juan Regional Medical Center, celebrating life better here since 1910.
When former Attorney General Bill